of their income on shoes that make it harder for them to walk, less mobile, and create them health problems later in their lives, right? Okay, so the idea that all of what it means to be feminine traps women, right? Victimizes women and actually makes their lives worse. And that femininity itself, right? The idea that a desirable woman is a meek, a humble, a weak woman, is vicious and evil and has to be stopped. Right? The reason why the state should do this is the state is not just interested in people being free before the law, the state is interested in people being genuinely autonomous and, yes, having genuine choices. So if the end game is just that people are technically free, so the law doesn't stop you, we can stop here. But if we think that the thing the state should be trying to do is create a society in which people are happy, in which people live fulfilled lives, and in which people are genuinely able to do what they want to do with their lives, we can't stop here. We have to do something about this. For a start, we might have to demand that there are more women in Parliament. Hello?
אין בעיה. המיזוג היה בעיה, אבל עכשיו הוא בסדר.
אמרו לי משהו עם מחשב.
אולי זה בחדר השני?
יש
עוד חדר שמה.
תודה.
So, a lot of... What was that about, incidentally?
He wanted to help with the problem we had, which we're not sure what it was.
I have many problems he can help with, so I'm not sure he's qualified. Anyway, a lot of feminism debates are sort of debates between these two groups of people. Right? These are often classic liberals, like John Stuart Mill is the obvious one to mention. Classic liberals who go, people are formally allowed to choose whether or not they become prostitutes. They are not oppressed by so doing. And there is no problem with a world when people choose to appear in pornographic magazines or pornographic films, and other people choose to buy and watch them. The second wave feminist response will be, it is not enough for people to be formally free and formally consenting, because the point of the state is not to create a society where people are technically consenting. The state is also interested in the circumstances under which they consent, why they consent, and whether or not they are degraded, humiliated, objectified, commodified, and so on by that process. In respect to the prostitution debate, they will say things like, this degrades women in general, they do not consent because they tend to have body image issues created by the patriarchy, which make them believe that their sexuality is a thing which exists for the benefit of men, that they get money for, and so on and so forth. With reference to the porn debate, we can talk about the fact that lots of men who watch violent porn for a very long time can't get an erection unless they see a woman being hit, and so you can show how that has other effects. But a lot of debates are a kind of polemical dispute between the first and the second wave. Third wave, agrees with these people on a lot of stuff. But what they say is, okay, again, quite a diverse bunch of people. What the most prominent bunch of them say is genuine feminism should not be about, genuine feminism should not be about women becoming like men. It should not be about women getting into parliament, colonizing the legal profession, all of that kind of stuff. Feminism should be about us changing the way in which we value things which are feminine. So instead of us burning the bra, we have to redefine what it means to wear a bra. So all the people who go, female sexual power is a good thing, right? It doesn't degrade women that they have to use their body to get ahead. It's great that women use their body to get ahead. People who think that will be a classically third wave position. That what you have to change is not how women behave, or the institutions into which women participate, but rather how society in general values what those things are. So these people want to destroy the feminine, these people want to alter the way in which it's valued. To massively, massively oversimplify. What's fun about these people is you can sort of cherry pick different arguments out of these as and when feminist arguments come up. I accept that was not very clear, for which I apologise.
It was.
Is everyone happy that they have a broad sense of what's going on over there? I shall expunge it then. Right, enough of that. but to refer to women in Parliament and how you would connect that material to that material. Firstly, this is reserved seats for women in Parliament. Are people happy for me to sort of run this case study, running it up against that and various feminist things? That might be a generally useful thing, it occurs to me. It seems clear that opposition is not going to stand up and argue that women should be prevented from entering Parliament. Would that be fair? Almost all debating, unless you go to some very strange places like Ireland, is post-first wave. Right? Like, everyone pretty much agrees formal access to various things like land tenure, divorce law, the right to vote, are things women should have. On this side of the debate, it seems that someone's going to be arguing that that is the point at which you stop, broadly, that having given formal equality to women under the law, that is sufficient. These people, it seems, have to argue something different. Now, there are a variety of ways of doing that using either choice or interest-based rights, but as a first move, over to you, where would you go? What would your first move be in arguing this?
You're looking at me?
No.
Well, fundamental interest.
Well, okay.
You say that you need more women in Parliament, at least an equal representation, because the laws refer both to women and to men in equal parts. So if the laws are equal, then they should be the lawmakers, those who decide upon it.
So women have a fundamental interest in representation,
Yes.
whether they vote for women or not. Almost, right? And they're going to like it. Yes, you could. So, firstly, you can run a representation argument here. What's going to happen? Why do they need to be represented? Why do women need to be in Parliament?
Because the laws are relevant.
Okay, laws affect them.
Specific ways.
Yeah, we're going to need to say more, aren't we? Laws also affect roads.
Because they have specific interests that needs legal protection.
Ooh, okay. They have a uterus. Do women have any other specific interests other than the uterus? Please say yes. But okay, so representation. We might think in virtue of special interests. Uterus stuff. Can we be a little bit more specific? Who said the uterus? No, I think it's fair enough. Men do indeed not have uteruses. So do any special interests follow from your uterine wall, as it were?
Fertility treatments and other medical treatments that are only relevant to women. Morning after pill, pregnancy prevention pills. Access to
Maternity leave.
Access to abortion.
Pill, maternity leave, abortion, childcare.
Post-pregnant depression.
Bang, 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 bang. Right, yes, fine. Postnatal depression, yes. I've run out of space. And it doesn't really matter what I'm writing here. The point is that you can point to about 50 different things which flow from the uterus.
There are other issues as well.
Are there anything else? Are there anything else?
Yes, of course.
Okay. We're not. Well, maybe. Bear in mind we go.
So breast is also along with uterus.
Okay. Hang on. Physical differences. Anything else?
Intellectual differences.
Say more.
No, you could argue women have a larger corpus callosum, therefore they're much more capable at multitasking, therefore you'll have different kinds of cognitive abilities.
That doesn't look like an obvious argument for why more of them why they need to be represented.
No, just to have more opinions within the parliament itself.
Oh, okay. Well, that looks like a totally different argument.
Fair enough.
Better parliament.
Compiling the educational system.
Yeah, then you can throw in things like they multitask.
No, but if you go into the second wave area and basically say, listen, there are areas in where they are oppressed. Women in the military, for example, for non-IDF or stuff like that.
Yes. So,
Yeah, I think
for example, the Parliament of New Zealand has guaranteed representation for people from the Maori community. That is not because we think that there are important physical differences between the Maori and other New Zealanders. It is, however, because we think they are marginalised in various ways, or oppressed in various ways, and in virtue of that oppression, marginalisation, or whatever, it is important that they be represented. So you can call this like the social stuff. And what can we point to there? Does anyone know how much?
Equal pay, for example.
That's a good one. Does anyone know how much of the world's product is, the world's total product, as it were, over the course of a year is earned by women? Would anyone like to guess? 20%? I've got 10% over there.
I can go with 10.
12.
Less than 1. Given that it's only like 30% in Britain. So economic oppression or inequality might be something you would point to, and all the rest of it. So firstly, don't just go for the physical stuff.
Excellent.
I mean, that's fair enough, but there's all sorts of other things you can point to about economic oppression, about the fact that they are oppressed in all sorts of other social ways as well, which can be thrown in there as well. And your argument to take us back to here would be, women, because of this, because they are marginalised and because they have special interests, have a fundamental interest in representation, and therefore must be in Parliament. Is that right? That's how you would run the argument.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay.
And you need to prove women in Parliament actually do this.
This is where we're going next. What is Op going to say?
That you need to prove that women in Parliament actually do these things.
That you don't reserve places for other people you don't reserve places for the poor. You don't reserve places for the
Not
lady.
unique to women.
Why just women? This is the sort of... yeah, so why just women, and why will women behave differently?
Why can't a man represent a woman on these issues?
Hang on, and there exist other issues. Why women, why not a man? Okay, let's take those in turn. Because I think some of these are good and I think some of these aren't.
Is there a better way to represent women issues other than a woman?
Yes, that's what I said. That's that. Sorry, that means there exists. I shouldn't use stuff like that. This is how I write notes in debates. I have this weird little code which I write to myself. Couple of things. So let's start with why just women, why not poor people, why not black people, why not whatever, right? It's sort of a question you can ask in any given debate. Right? Why this, why not this other thing? Right? There'll always be another thing. Why are you assassinating Robert Mugabe, not Vladimir Putin? In general, while props should try and fulfill that burden, it's not the strongest op material in the world. The reason why it's not the strongest op material in the world is they can just go, well, if our principles apply in other cases, we would also support doing this in other cases. Right? It doesn't actually attack anything they've said. It's not a positive reason not to do it, it just gives them a little bit more to say. And they can just say, we've given you a principled case, if our principles hold here and they hold somewhere else, we would also support it somewhere else. So this, I think, is one of those questions you can always ask, and you might want to ask it as a throwaway question, why not? Hope that they will waste their time, like, spending 7 minutes on that bit of the burden, but ultimately that's not going to drive the case forward that much. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, but you can build it further and show it, ad absurdum. If you reserve seats for the, and for the, and for the, then you know the way your parliament is going to look before the election.
Okay, so yes, but okay,
That's a slippery slope.
It